Denim Jeans Back Details Part 1. Okay, so we've just completed our front view and now we're going to work on our back view. So what I recommend that you do is that you go ahead and go to your layers and unlock your details and your shape and go ahead and marquee select your entire garment and press Alt, click on Alt and make a copy and drag it off to the side. So there's your front ready to go. Now we're going to work on our back. So we're going to go ahead, there's a lot of details, so we're going to start with the detail layer and clean up the details we don't want. Now the bottom hem, the inseam stitches we want, so we're going to keep them there. Okay, what we're going to remove is this little fullness line. We're going to remove that, and zooming in, we're going to remove these 2 rows of stitching, the center front stitching, the fly, the pockets, the rivets, that all need to go. Okay, so we're going to get rid of that. These belt loops, buttonhole, belt loop. Okay, now this line is on the shape layer, so I'm going to lock my details, go to my shape, unlock that, and with the white arrow I'm just going to select this line and click delete. Okay, I'll lock my layer and go back to my detail layer. Now these are the details I'm keeping because by doing so, I'm ensuring that it has the exact same width of the band that it does in the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my stitch. I'm going to press Alt, click on the middle bounding box, and press Alt and just drag out till it reaches the ends. I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom band stitch. Press Alt and extend so it hits the ends. And I'm going to click the same thing with the bottom of the band. Press Alt, extend. Okay, extend all the way out. There you go. And now I have my band. Okay, next I'm going to add my center front seam so I can use it as reference. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it and drag straight down, press Shift, and click all the way down. Now details that would go on my waistband are belt loops, so that's why I said it's handy to have your symbols. You can just drag it on out and I just reposition it right there. Look how simple that is. Usually we have about 3, 1 in the center and 1 on each side, and you can put 1 and mirror it so it's in the exact same spot. Also, we typically see labels or tags on the sides, not always, but sometimes we do. So I'm going to go ahead and add one here. So what you want to do is you want to give it a white fill and make the stroke really thin, so 0.25. And what you want to do is you actually want to draft another rectangle, so I make a copy of that, make it a little bit smaller, so press Shift and make it just a little bit smaller. And you're just going to add, now that one doesn't need any fill, so I'm going to take out the fill, and I'm going to make that a dashed line. And just bring it in, and that's the stitching. If the stitching is really close to the edges, then you can scale up a little bit while you press Shift. There you go. You can always bring it out a little bit. Okay, and there's your label. Typically we have a 2 needle cover stitch for the center front seam, typically speaking, so all I have to do is press Alt, there's usually a point to the pocket, so you go to your pen tool and open up the menu and add an anchor point tool. Just add an anchor point in the middle, and then with the deselect, and then with the white arrow, just go to that anchor point and literally just drag it down. There you go. You just have to determine how wide or how long that pocket is. So I can go in there with the white arrow, and then I can make it shorter, I can make it longer. And also, they tend to be rotated because it doesn't look right just straight out like that. So I'm going to rotate it a little bit. Okay, so depending on your jeans, you have to determine how the rotation is going to go, or if it's going to go straight down. It's entirely depends on your pair of jeans. Okay, I'm going to do it a straight on view, and I'm going to add the details. And after I'm done with the details, then I can mirror everything on over if they're both exactly the same, and they usually are. So one of the things that, I'm going to bring it up a little bit, it should be a little bit higher. And typically speaking, we have stitching around the actual pocket. And since it's nice and straight, it's very easy to just go ahead, first of all deselect, go with your pen tool, and then just go straight down. And just follow across and go all the way up to the edge of the pocket. If it is a 2-needle cover stitch, you can go ahead and do that if it's a perfect 2-needle. If it's not, then I'm going to undo, and it would be a single needle. So you would do eyedropper tool and select your single needle. There's some that will have a 2-needle, but they don't actually follow evenly, or at least they only follow evenly to a certain extent. So a good way to draft that is go ahead and do another line. Go again, very close to your original, and have the guidelines help you. You're pretty much following it. Actually, that went down too low, not low enough. So if it's even, but it's a little different at the top, this is what you can do. You can go ahead and, with the white arrow, deselect and change it. If it's nice and straight like this, the white arrow works really well. If it curves on the top, which quite a few pockets do curve, if that's the case, then you have to actually draft that first line. You have to curve it like that, like so, and then continue on. And then curve again. Okay, so it's going to depend on your pair of jeans. It depends on what you have. It could be perfectly straight, perfectly not. It just depends on what you have. So if that's the case, you just have to mimic what you have. Some are like this, and like I said, some are a perfect 2-needle cover stitch. So if that's the case, you give it a 2-needle cover stitch. Typically, there's one row of stitching. Straight across. Actually, let me take that out so you can see a better view. I need to make that solid, so make that a solid line, and then add the 2-needle cover stitch. There we go. And then one across, one single line across, and click shift to make it nice and straight, and eyedropper tool, single needle, takes that. And some will have rivets on the side. If that's the case, again, open up my symbol library and I have my rivets already ready to go. I can have one there and press Alt and have another one here. Or if it's zigzag stitching, I can do that as well. In terms of the design on the pocket, it could be one of those that have those nice zigzag stitches, in which case I can draw the line. I'll make sure that it's solid, and then I'm just going to add the zigzag effect. So go to your top menu, Effect, Distort and Transform, and Zigzag. Again, click Preview, make it really small, like 0.2. Increase the ridges per segment, make them smooth, and really increase the ridges per segment. Click OK, and there you go. And some of you will have several rows of the stitching, kind of like that, in which case you just have to mimic that and make sure it doesn't pass the boundaries. And once you're done and happy with your pocket, you just go ahead and take the whole thing, click on Reflect, press All, click on the mirror line, vertical, copy, and bring it on over to your other side. And now you have your second pocket. And that concludes back details of your denim jeans part 1.